Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we will be talking about Married at First Sight. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we begin, obviously I am not on screen, and this will be a podcast style review. Sorry you guys that I'm not on screen, but I just have not been feeling good. I don't know if y'all can hear it in my voice, but my allergies have been really acting up lately, and I could not be on screen this time around. So y'all let me know how y'all like this style of review. I don't plan on doing it very often, but this week, it just had to be this way. I still wanted to talk about the episode. So on this episode, they went on their retreat that they do every single season. The house was actually very nice, and it was next to a beach. And I don't know, I thought it was a very nice place to visit this time around, because a lot of times they be putting them in these little cramped quarters. But I feel like this house was a nice one, and they got to be by the beach and everything. Mind you, this place is 5 hours away. Why did y'all make them drive 5 hours? I have no idea. Like, five? Oh, because I would have been like, can y'all send us like one of those buses or something like that? Like, why I gotta drive 5 hours? I know 5 hours really ain't that much in the scheme of things, but what if I don't feel like it? What if I just got done working? Like, I don't feel like driving. Anyway, let's start off with Clara and Ryan. They came in late because Clara had to work. Dr. Pepper has them write love letters to one another. Mind you, side note, Ryan, what is your workout routine? What is your squat routine, sir? Because I mean, these IG models could never. They would be taking your picture in for the inspiration for their BBL. Like, I mean, it's out of this world. Like, I just never noticed how big his butt actually was. It was poking. I can't even lie. But that's not what this scene was about. So the letter that he wrote her really made her cry. He expressed sentiments of love without actually saying the words. And he said, "Thank you for loving me." But the way he read it was so dry. Like, I can't read Ryan. I don't know like where he's coming from when it comes to him. So he could be expressing his love with her without saying it, or maybe he just doesn't know what love is supposed to feel like, and so he just doesn't know that he's in love. I don't know if he's in love or not. But Clara, she got all in her feelings when he read that letter. I feel like she got some things that she need from that letter. She got a little bit of validation from that letter, and later on she even told him, I like to hear those things. I mean, it's one thing for you to show me the action, but I like to hear it. She is a words of affirmation type of woman. Clearly, Ryan is not one of those people that validates with words. He doesn't seem to be anyway. So that's one way he's going to have to compromise and actually, express his feelings a little bit more than maybe he's used to. When she read her letter to him, she got super emotional, and you could tell that she really has feelings for Ryan and she loves Ryan, but I don't think that she wants to express that to him. She wants it to be something that when she says it, she wants him to say it back. So she doesn't want to be the first one to say it, because she knows that there's a possibility that he is not going to return the favor. And so he expressed gratitude for her letter with a kiss, and of course, for sure. Yeah. Like I said, I can't read Ryan. I don't know where he's coming from half the time. Let's move on to Brianna and Vincent. Brianna's hair was so cute in her confessional this episode. Oh my goodness, I loved it. The little blowout look. So when they first met up with other couples and they were just discussing, various things in their marriage, Vinny brought up the fact that he's a little insecure about gaining 20 pounds. And it's like, Vinny, we I feel like we all gained a little bit of weight during quarantine. We were like forced to live a little bit more of a sedentary lifestyle and just sit there and eat and, be stationary. So it was kind of hard to not gain weight. I mean, I gained 15 pounds like during the quarantine. And it's sad because right before that, I had lost 15 pounds and I gained it right back. So I can understand how you could feel insecure because I felt the same way. But honestly, a diet change made me lose 20. So if you change the way you eat, them pounds will drop fast. Watch. But Brianna made it clear that he will be hitting the gym and they will be working out. So I'm not worried about it. They when they were talking about the things they learned being married, she said she learned patience and understanding. He said that he's very reserved and this whole experience is out of his comfort zone. And that made me understand Vincent a little bit better, but he's going to have to push himself to step outside of his comfort zone a little bit more because he has a very outgoing wife. He has a wife that likes to jump out there and, try new things. And I don't think he has to do every single thing that she wants to do, but I like she's not going to want to experience these things alone. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing because that's what I'm really talking about. So she signed them up for horseback riding lessons, or just really not even lessons, just to ride the horse along the shore of the beach, which was a good test to see if he was willing to compromise. The last time she took him out, he threw a tantrum because he wasn't good at doing the salsa lesson. So I felt like this would be a test to look like he was outside of his element and to be uncomfortable but still try, you know what I'm saying? And not let that uncomfortableness keep you from experiencing new things as well as keeping your wife from doing it. So when she told him about it, he said that he was scared because it was a big animal and he doesn't know how it'll react and it'll throw him off. And it's like, Vincent, those animals are trained. So I don't see that happening unless you do something to harm the animal. Once they got to the beach and they got next to the horses, Vincent refused to get on the horse and ride it. And I was completely over it because he's the type of person, like, you'll take them to the amusement park and you'll get ready to get in line to ride a ride and they'll be like, oh, well, I don't want to ride any. No, we got all the way here and you want to chicken out? I cannot stand stuff like that. And you would think for someone who has such like this fragile ego, you think he would go ahead and do something just so he wouldn't look like a chicken. But no, he like refused to do it at first, but eventually he did do it. But I still, y'all, I would have been so annoyed that we got all the way there and he said he wasn't gonna do it. And then like once they actually got on those horses, like the scenery was so beautiful. I see why she wanted to do it. And honestly, y'all, I'm not a big fan of horses either, but I'm always willing to try to do something at least once, as long as it's not like, it's not threatening my life. Like, I'm with him when he said he doesn't want to jump out of a plane or bungee jump. I'm totally with him on that. But like little things like this is fun, or at least an experience that you should try at least once. And so even afterwards, he wasn't feeling it. And he says the reason why he didn't like it was the fact that she surprised him with it. And I'm just like, okay, some people really don't like surprises. So I can understand that maybe you should have like warmed him up to it first instead of like springing it on him the night before. I could see. So maybe he could get comfortable with the fact that he would have to do it. Maybe Vincent really does need time to mentally prepare. But I don't know. Vincent was really getting on my nerves. Now, finally, this is one time that I am on Vincent's side. We actually saw Brianna wake him up. Like, wake up, wake up. With that baby voice. It's like, girl, if you don't let this man sleep, you think he's crabby now. Let him get his sleep before he really snap. Okay? Because I know how I am without sleep. And child, it's not pretty. Let's move on to Virginia and Eric. So one thing I noticed from my comment section when it comes to Virginia and Eric, it can be very polarizing. Like, either they're completely on Eric's side, like, yeah, she's immature. Oh, he's not being controlling because he's just being an adult and he's just telling her the truth. And if you're on Virginia's side, oh, he's controlling. He always gives ultimatums. She just wants to tailor the marriage to their own, belief system or whatever. And I believe both can be true. I believe he can be controlling, and I believe that she can be very immature. And I feel like both were displayed in this episode. So on their way to the retreat, he said they won't fight this trip, and if they will fight, it won't be because of him. And he says that she's always the one who gets annoyed. And it was like, okay, but what is she getting annoyed by, though? Eric, like, don't act like your personality can't rub her the wrong way. Sometimes you have a jacked up attitude and it's veiled with passive aggressiveness. And like Haley, you play the victim. He wants to subliminally call her out on camera. For instance, with the whole dog situation, he wanted to make it seem like, she was, not training her dog well. And in essence, he was trying to insult her character and basically say that she needed some training. He never said it outright, but he was doing it subliminally. But she'll call him out directly while on camera, and he does not like that. He explicitly said he doesn't like when she calls him out on camera. And I think that's very manipulative, because you do the same thing. You just do it indirectly. And even when they sat down with the other couples and they were talking about things they learned about themselves at the table, she said she's had to learn that you can love someone even when you don't like them at the moment. She just thought it would be all sunshine and rainbows, when in actuality, sometimes that person will get on your nerves and you won't like them. And Eric said that he had to learn so much patience being with her. And, he's like, no, you already know that. You already know. And it's not what he said, because literally Brianna said the same thing, but it's how he said it. He always has this condescending tone of like a parent talking about their child. And he just, I could see why Haley flips out the way she does sometimes, because that would annoy me as well. Like, you are not my daddy. But I'm gonna talk more about their situation later. We're gonna get on Virginia later. But first, let me talk about Haley and Jacob. So at the very beginning, we saw that Haley had her mom overnight the bracelet to Jacob, and I'm glad he got it back, because she said out of her own mouth that she would have never worn it. So I'm glad he got it back, because that is trash to get on camera and say that. Like, her attitude is so jacked up. I just don't understand. Like, just twist the knife even further. Like, she just, like, you're already mean, but just say something even worse in the confessionals. I really bet Haley thought she would be the victim of this season, because she definitely was trying to set herself up that way by crying and by playing the victim. But no, girl, we see you for your works. We see you. So they traveled separately because of the tension that they've been having with one another. And he got there first. And he felt stupid for being on time, because he was the only one there. So he cooked himself some eggs. Y'all know he loved him some eggs, child. And when Haley got there, she was mad because they were supposed to cook with one another. So maybe that's why he was mad. Maybe he was mad because him and Haley were supposed to get there around the same time, because they was going to have to cook for everybody. I don't know. But she was mad at him because she was going to cook, and she claimed that he didn't communicate with her, but he did text her and she didn't answer. So she was mad that he didn't help her cook, but it's like, girl, like, you actually wanted him to cook with you. Don't fake the fun. It's like when she get around other people or in front of this camera, I definitely think she be turning it on and be trying to act like she like it more than she do. And she definitely told the other women what he did. She hurried up and told on him so she can gain more sympathy. So when they sat down with the other couples and they were, supposed to say what they learned from this experiment. He said he doesn't feel like he's learned anything. And y'all, Jacob is just not the type to fake. He doesn't seem like the type to give a pageant answer just to make the situation less uncomfortable. He's very straightforward and he's very unapologetic about it. Like, he's gonna give you exactly how he feels, and he's not gonna give you an answer to save face. Like, he keeps it all the way 100. She tries to press him for an answer because she's the type that will give a fake pageant answer just so she can fit in with the situation. She's shown this many times that, she is not comfortable with Jacob because she likes to present a fake image, and Jacob does not do that. And I think that's the reason why she got so angry at that table, because he was not willing to fake the funk with her. She's trying to press him for an answer like, you had to learn something. Come on, you got to give us an answer. And he's like, well, you tell me what I've learned. And the other couples didn't even know they were having these type of issues because Haley loves to fake and make it seem like they're doing better than what they are, and he is not. So she says she's learned more about herself when it comes to communication and her emotions. Girl, please, you've been heartless when it comes to Jacob. And then that's when Jacob said this has been like a very long bad first date. And she looked so shocked, and I was shocked that she was shocked because, girl, y'all, you feel the same way. Stop acting like you don't feel the exact same way. But looking at Haley, she was trying to stay calm, but you could tell she was seething. Like, if looks could kill, Jacob would be 6 feet under right now, because she was looking at him like she was trying to stare through his soul. It's like, Haley, just be honest. Like, be vulnerable for once in your life and actually be truthful about how you feel. Like, this was your moment to actually just tell the absolute truth about how you felt about Jacob. Why are you trying to present this hunky-dory image when you don't actually feel that way? I just don't understand why she won't just be real. She tried to lighten it up a little bit and said that 95% of this experiment has been challenging, and she tried to make it into a little joke, and he was like, yeah, 97%, because he only got 3 days of her being nice to him, and he literally called her fake. And I was like, ugh, the whole room was cringing. It was cringing. And even though it was a cringe moment, I appreciated his honesty, because look, let's stop faking it, because people are like, what's the point? The rest of these people relationship is not perfect either, like, as we'll see later on. I really feel like at the end of this, maybe at the reunion, they will try to paint Jacob, and when I say they, I mean the cast, will maybe try to paint Jacob as the villain when really he was just being honest. And I feel like he will get the Brett treatment from last season. And I don't think that's fair. Like, just because you're friends with Haley, y'all didn't see her the whole time. So I don't think it would be fair to paint him with that brush, but we'll see. I could be wrong. So afterwards, they played a couples game to see how much they knew about each other. And the craziest part is that Haley and Jacob won. Even though they are not on the same page with one another, they won. But Jacob was like, well, all we've been doing is asking each other these superficial questions, so of course they would know those things about one another. And I agree, because I believe Henry and Christina won or did very well on this game last season, and clearly they were not on the same page at all. So I mean, winning the game doesn't mean anything. So they did an exercise later on that night, and they seemed to be getting along because they both had to speak highly of one another, and both of them had very nice things to say about each other. But the very next day, Jacob completely left without telling her. And, he could have gave her a heads up. He could have sent her a text or something before he left. Jacob, that was kind of rude to just leave without telling her. But y'all weren't even staying in the same room. So, I mean, what are we doing? We still acting like Jacob and Haley possibly have a chance. Please. Let's rewind to the last dinner. So Ryan ends up asking the room about living arrangements. And Vincent said that Bree is going to move in with him. And Bree was actually looking crazy. It's like, did y'all have a conversation about this? Because later on, when they talked about it, it seemed like they never really discussed it. Or maybe they were just playing with each other. But their dialogue made it seem like, he never actually discussed this with her. Like, he just decided that she's moving in with him. And she's concerned about staying in a one bedroom with someone. And I could understand being a little concerned by that, because I would be the same way. Like, not only are y'all moving in together, but you're moving into his place, and y'all are really gonna be up on each other, and really gonna be, without the cameras, without any of the experts to really, the experts haven't been there, but you know what I mean, without any guidance. So I can understand her being a little bit concerned about that. Next we have Ryan and Clara, and they have a debate over her neon signs and his comic book art and it being in the bedroom. Jacob started clowning Ryan, saying, why would you want that childish picture up on the wall? And it kind of showed that Jacob had a little bit of a personality. I like to see that. And then we get to Virginia and Eric, and I was like a little bit confused about what their living arrangements were going to be. Virginia plans to move home when her lease is up and not into his condo that he owns. Clearly Eric is completely against this, and I can understand it. At first, when they first had this conversation, I was a little bit more on Virginia's side, because I can understand why she would not want to move into a home with him, because he is so controlling. He might hold it over her head, and he might want to like kick her out or whatever. I could see him doing that. But she wants him to like immediately rent out his place in the 4 months that it would take for her lease to be up. And her outlook on this is very immature, and it's just not realistic. It doesn't make any sense. He owns his place, so it's not going to be as easy as she thinks it is to just, it's just rent it out, you know what I'm saying? And she claims she doesn't want to live with him because it's not pet friendly, and he's allergic to cats, so it's going to be like tight quarters, and she's not going to lock her cats up in a room. We'll get to her cats in a minute. But he said that he's willing to do any and everything to compromise for this move. And honestly, when he says that, that's when I will want to like get that in writing. Let's get a contract or something. Let's have something that's legally binding, that you can't just kick me out on my butt whenever you feel like it. And let's have some terms to this agreement, because I don't think Eric's place is a bad place to stay. I think if y'all are going to stay together, I think y'all are going to have to compromise on these animals at one time or another. So let's get an agreement where y'all can like literally have it written out what y'all are going to do, if y'all do plan to stay together, because I don't think they should. But if y'all are, let's have it written out, you know what I'm saying? At least for however long y'all are going to stay in that condo. But I just think it's unrealistic for her to just be like, well, you just need to give up your condo when he owns it. So the next argument they have is she wants her cats to literally sleep in their bed. Not only sleep in their bed, sleep in her crevices. And she keeps talking about how, yeah, my cats sleep in my crevices. They sleep where they want. They do what they want. And they've been doing this for the past 5 years. They sleep in the bed with me. And she just doesn't realize how ridiculous she sounds. Like, Eric is allergic to cats. So you want him to be literally coughing his head off, or having his eyes be puffy and swollen, or break out into hives, or whatever happens to him when he has an allergic reaction. Like, does his throat get swollen? Like, as someone with allergies, I completely sympathize with him on this. Like, this is complete trash of her to be like, well, you could just take some medicine, when he's like literally in the bed with cat dander. Like, girl, that is not how that works. And the craziest part is she doesn't even realize how ridiculous she sounds. I don't know. Both of them are just being so stubborn with one another. I don't know what to say about them. Neither one of them need to be married. I've been feeling like this since really the beginning. Neither one of them need to be married. They both have their own things to work on. But I feel like for them, as far as being together, they just have too many deal breakers for one another. Just break up at this point, because it's annoying. It's annoying to keep having to go over this time after time with Eric and Virginia. Like, they have too many things that are just gonna keep them apart that neither one of them are willing to compromise on. Both of them are being immature in that way. And you know, I do think Eric is controlling, but I do think Virginia is uncompromising as well when it comes to wanting the things that she wants. Like, and I think everybody got to see that this episode. So everybody that's been defending either one of them, just realize both of them have a lot to work on. Neither one of them seem to be the most mature person. Anyway, that was my review. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below. How did you feel about this podcast style review? I would love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in my next one. Peace.